Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the cryptocurrencies. Alright, so this is going to be a little cryptocurrency update, and then I'm going to throw in a couple stocks at the end. But yeah, this is so going to check out what's happening here. There's some technical developments if you've been following along. So you know that Bitcoin, this is the Bitcoin stamp chart, BTC USD Bitstamp. So you always have to clarify if it's Bitstamp or Coinbase. It makes a difference on the charts, and so they're very similar, but they're a little bit different. And so basically, what happened was the middle Bollinger Band, which is this solid purple line here, that broke on the 9th, and that signaled downside risk. And what we were looking for is a bounce off the 50-day simple moving average, which is the green line. That's currently at 14,205, and yesterday there was a close below that level, so that was not good. So first you had the middle Bollinger Band break, which is the 20-day simple moving average, and then now the 50-day simple moving average broke. Not good. So now what is happening is the prior support level is on deck, and so it has to hold this 12,616 level. If you see a drop below 12,616, just even it out, 12,600, that's going to signal downside risk. And you could see a drop down here to the 100-day simple moving average at 10,261. So basically, you know, break this 12.6 level, and it's looking at a possible drop to 10,000. For Bitstamp. Okay, so this is a key level. It needs to bounce here. It has to get back above the 50-day simple moving average and the middle Bollinger Band. Notice what's happened here. Okay, so the chart was heating up when this candle formed on the 2nd, and it closed back above EMA's 4 and 8. That's the pink and green line, and it had a nice little rally. You know, it got above the middle Bollinger Band, but look where it hit. Okay, so it hit the descending resistance here, and it hit the you know, horizontal resistance as well at the 17,000 level, and it started pulling back, and when it closed back below EMA's 4 and 8 on the 8th, that signaled the bears are back in control. Notice how each of these closes are below the pink line. That's a red flag. So if it doesn't bounce off 12.6, you're looking at a potential big drop. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's look at Coinbase Bitstamp. Okay, so if you remember here, we were saying that it needed to bounce off of the 50-day simple moving average back here when that level was tested on the 31st, and you know, it held. So it bounced off, and it had that nice rally. It got above the middle Bollinger Band, just like the Bitstamp chart, and then it came up here and it hit that 17,000 resistance. Notice how the candles were above the pink line, and then bam, they got below here on the 8th. The 8th support broke, and it closed right at the middle Bollinger Band, and then now candles are forming below. So as you can see, candles are writing EMA 4 resistance lower. There's a close below the 50-day simple moving average yesterday. That signals downside risk. The bears are in control. Okay, notice that the close below the 50-day simple moving average was on a volume spike. Okay, so that's always a red flag. You know, just like you have to think inverse of a bullish move when you're thinking about a bearish move. You just think the opposite. And so if it's a really good sign when a stock's breaking out higher and there's a bullish volume spike, a green volume spike, a green volume bar, then it's signaling more upside. Well, if a stock's heading lower and there's a red volume spike like the one down here, you know, that signals more downside risk. You know, unless they're loading off of the bottom, which this doesn't look like a load candle because there's not much of a lower wick. And so basically this is the key level. It's hitting the support from down here at 13.7. If it breaks 13.7, that could signal a drop down to that 100-day simple moving average, which on the Coinbase chart is down here at 10,354. So yeah, so this is where it needs to bounce. It has to bounce off 13.7. If you see it break below, that's going to signal the bears are in control. Okay, look at the Bitcoin Cash chart. Now this looks more interesting. Okay, so if you were you know, just had to look at the 3 charts that we just looked at, and you're like, which one looks the most interesting if I was thinking about being a bull, you know, a long position? This looks more interesting because look how tight the Bollinger Bands are. Okay, so this has been trading in a very tight channel. You know, the Bitcoin right now, you know, these charts, I mean, they just have a lot of indecision, and they look like they could break down. If they get back above, it's the same thing with this. It's just that this has very tight Bollinger Bands. It looks like it's setting up. the chart's winding tight here. You've got the resistance, okay, the top of the channel. You could put it here for the recent tight for the tight channel, and then as you can see down below, you know, it's been trading sideways for a number of days. And when that happens, it's kind of like taking a champagne bottle and you're shaking it up. And as these Bollinger Bands get tighter and tighter, it will get to a point where it's going to pop. Either it's going to break down and you're going to see a drop down to 12.5, or it's going to pop out and you're going to see a run up to 37.50. And so just keep an eye on it. You know, we're just watching it every day to see if it makes that break above. A clue is going to be a break above 27.50, and then if it can get above the recent high close, which is 28.38. That would be your clue. If it closes above 28.38, that's your clue that Bitcoin Cash is heading higher. Okay, so take a look at Bitcoin Gold. Okay, so yeah, it's difficult to read because of the Bollinger Bands. You can see how tight they are. I mean, look how tight these Bollinger Bands are. So these are, we were talking about Bitcoin Cash having tight Bollinger Bands. Well, you have the same thing here with Bitcoin Gold. The Bollinger Bands are super tight. If we get rid of them, we'll be able to read the chart a little better. But you can still see it's in a tight channel. And yeah, this fat finger. Look at this candle right here. See how somebody traded way down here to 000. If they took this off the chart, it would be much easier to read. But it's throwing the chart off. And so, yeah, it's making it difficult to read. The bottom line is it's trading in a tight channel, and we're looking for a possible pop higher. We want to see a breakout above that high close, which is 16.8. So if you see it break above 16.8, that's going to be a signal that it's heating up, and then it's going to be this 24 level up here, 2389. So those are the two big levels on the Bitcoin Gold chart to the upside. To the downside, you don't want to see it drop below 12.8. That's the all-time low. It's trading in a tight channel. At some point, it's going to break this pattern, and a new pattern is going to begin. So just keep an eye on it. We'll see if it can heat up. Let's look at Ethereum. Now, this has a nice uptrend going. This has been the big winner. It's been, you know, as you can see here, it has the super strong chart. It looks like it has the, you know, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, Elliott waves, and then so now you could have the A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. You could have the correction waves next. A 3-wave correction wave could be coming where it pulls back. You know, you get a bounce and then another pullback. I mean, this looks like a 5-wave breakout. You know, and so. It's got that look to it. It looks like this could be, you know, hitting a temporary top up here. It's going to have to break above 13 to head higher. It could take a pause. It looks like, as you can see up here, that's good. You always have to keep making new high closes. And if it's a stock, a commodity, a cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're charting it. And it has to keep making new high closes. That with our candlestick analysis that we use, that's what keeps signaling that it wants to head higher. And so if it fails to get above 12.87, close above that level, that's going to be your clue that it's cooling down. Right now, the close on the 11th. The close below EMA4, that's a red flag. Notice that all these candles here, all these green candles in a row, and even that red candle, it closed above EMA4. So that's a signal that it was cooling down. Today, it's back above EMA4. If it can close back above EMA4, it's party time. It's ready to keep heading up higher, and then you just need to see it close above 12.87. Now, if EMA4 currently at 11.86 turns into resistance, then it has to hold EMA8 at 11.28. That's the line there. If that breaks, then that's when you get that drop down to EMA 13 at 10.54. You know, the last time it had the correction, it did pull down to the middle Bollinger Band, and that's all the way down here at 9.19. That's this purple line down here. So that's the downside risk, is that it drops from 11 down to 9.10 to test that middle Bollinger Band. It could do that and bounce off of it and still keep the uptrend going. So just keep that in mind. You know, it has to keep making new highs to keep the strong uptrend going. Now, talk about new highs. Here's Ripple. Ripple was, this is the Bitstamp Ripple. It's bouncing right now. And notice it had multiple red candles in a row. So it had 4 red candles in a row. And then today a green candle's forming. It looks like, I don't think those are gap downs. Yeah, it looks like today it could be, let's see the open. Yeah, it looks like it's either it looks like a bullish engulfing type pattern. I mean, yesterday that could be yeah. It basically it's either an engulfing. It depends on the open here. It's hard to read on this chart, but it looks like maybe a bullish engulfing reversal patterns forming today. I mean, you had yesterday almost a doji, which it almost could have formed that bullish doji star reversal pattern. Regardless, what you have is it bouncing. Notice there was the big volume spike yesterday, and then you had the almost doji type candle, which is signals indecision, and when it forms during a pullback, it's a bounce candle. It's a dojis or hammers formed during pullbacks will signal a bounce, and that's what's happened here. It's bouncing, but notice it's hitting EMAs 4, 8, and 13. It has to get above those levels. If they turn into resistance, it's going to continue pushing lower, and so it has to hold. It has to get above what's the top level? 214 is the big level to break. If it gets above 214, then up here at 275. So 214, 275. Get above 275, and it's off running again. Fail to get above the to get above that 214, and then you could see it possibly consolidate. And then it needs to hold this 189 level. So if it drops below that 190, that's going to be a red flag. You want to see it hold 190 here. And then, you want to see it get above the high close, and then, that 275. So it came up, it hit here, it's coming back down, and it's finding support where there used to be a little bit of resistance there at 190. And so, it has to hold here. Otherwise, you're looking at a drop, potentially down to this 50-day simple moving average, which is all the way down here to $1.10. That is the downside risk. We can throw in the Bollinger Bands here, which can help with I like the Bollinger Bands, but you can't see them on this chart. That's the problem with the trading view, is it's difficult to see. It's great, it's good technology. It's just can be difficult. I really like the Bollinger Bands. If you look here, this red line is the middle Bollinger Band. Okay, so it came back and it's bouncing off of the middle Bollinger Band. That's very important. That's the 20-day simple moving average, and so it's a really key level. If it can hold that level, the uptrend is intact. It's hard to see here, but the candles have been staying above that level during the entire uptrend. So this is where it needs to bounce. This is the huge level. It needs to hold 196. If 196 turns into resistance, that'll signal downside risk, and $1 is going to be on deck. It's going to drop down to $1. If it can hold 196, this is where it should bounce. Okay, so this is the do or die level just for keeping the uptrend going, because what happens is if the middle Bollinger Band on the daily chart turns into resistance, it signals the start of a new downtrend. Okay, so let's look at Litecoin here. Litecoin has been trading in this downtrend, this downtrending channel, and it came back up. It bounced off of the the top here, and then it had a nice ascending support line going, but that unfortunately broke on the 9th. And the candles have been riding EMAs 4 and 8 resistance lower. It looks like it's headed for the target, which is right here. You have the closing price from over here on the 11th of December, and then you have the 50-day simple moving average currently at 210, and it looks like it's heading down there for a potential bounce. That would be a really a good technical level to bounce off, and so keep an eye on 210. You could see a bounce off of that level. It needs to get back above 238, 246. Once you see it above 246, that's when it can run back up to 280. It has to get back above the 280 zone here in order to make a run back up to the threes. If you see the 240 resistance zone, continue being resistance, 200 is going to be on deck. It's going to test that 50-day simple moving average. If it fails to hold after like a double bottom test here, that would be a major red flag that the bears are in control, and it's going to drop lower. Okay, so keep that in mind. It has to reverse here. Okay, let's look at EOS. Now we've been talking about the bigger names pulling back, but check out how EOS, which is not as well known, so it had that nice uptrend as well. Okay, so see how this was running like Ripple and Bitcoin and Ethereum, but check out how it's performed. It came down but then notice how it bounced. It got above the middle Bollinger Band. Okay, so it broke below, just like the other ones, but it got back above, and it stayed above. Okay, and then now look what it's doing. It's breaking out above high close resistance. It's breaking out above the closing price on the 19th of December. That's exactly what you want to see. That's what you wanted to see that's what you want to see happen on this chart, because Ethereum's still hanging in there, and that's what you want to see on Ripple, come down, bounce, and come back up. And unfortunately for Bitcoin, that did not happen. Notice how it came down and it bounced, and then notice how it's pulled back again. All right, it didn't break back above the high. And so if you look at EOS, it's much stronger. It's breaking out above the high. This is what you want if you're a bull, and you're looking to go long. You want to go where the strength is, And so this is just telling you that it's strong. It's pushing out higher. What you want to see is that 1150 hold. You want to see that high close turn into support once it's been broken. If it drops below, that'll be a sign of weakness. It could double top here. The day is young, and this is just breaking intraday, right? So it could pull back and form a long upper wick, so keep that in mind. If you see it drop below 1150, it could possibly form a double top here. So it needs to close above 1152 for the day, and that'll be a signal that it wants to break out higher. Okay, let's look at XLM. Notice it's in this channel. It's got this really nice uptrending channel. It's been super strong. Lumen has been really rocking it. This is a beautiful chart. I mean, look at the gains here. I mean, monster percentage gains in the last 2 months. This is the kind of chart that you're looking to ride if you're a swing trader. It needs to hold support. It's bouncing off of the bottom of the channel right now, and it's back above EMAs 4, 8, and 13. It needs to stay above. It's bouncing after a multi-day drop. It pulled back 5 days in a row, and so you want to see it stay above EMAs 4 and 8 there. So if it can stay above 61, that's going to be a signal that it's in play. And then you want to see up here 88 is the big level to break. 88, 89. Get above that level, then that's going to signal it wants to break out higher. You're looking at dollar land on deck with a break above 89. Okay, let's look at ADA. Same thing. So these altcoins, the smaller, lesser known altcoins, notice how they've all had the same pattern where they had multiple days pulled back in a row, 4 red days in a row. Today it's bouncing. Today you got a bounce. You've got bullish engulfing starting to form. If you can get above EMAs 4 and 8 there, the pink and white line, it's off to back to the races. And so you're looking at not necessarily back to the races, but it's bouncing and says it's in play. Don't want to get carried away here. But 5539 is the big level to break. If you see it above that and close above, that could signal that this pullback is reversing and it's starting to get bullish again. And then what you want to see is a run back up here to the 7.5 level, 7.54, and that's going to signal a breakout higher. So this has a nice uptrend. It corrected, and so if it bounces here and this level holds, this is like the reload level. Now, if it fails to get above those EMAs 4 and 8, then that's going to signal downside risk. It has to get above those levels and close above to be back in play here after this pullback. Now you want to be tight here and not let it drop below 5. If it drops below 5 and closes below, that's going to signal more downside risk. It's always a risk to hold long if anything is forming candles below EMA 4 resistance on the daily chart. Okay, so let's look at SALT. So this is what I'm talking about with the bounce on those last 2 plays. This came down. It formed a bullish Haremy reversal pattern on the 6th of January, and look how it had the nice bounce and it came back. And so after pulling back for 2 days, it's bouncing again here. You want to see the higher highs here. You want to see it. You don't want to see it retrace all the way back to this 50-day simple moving average down to 6.5. You want to see it hold up here, and then you want to see a break above the 9.8. That's going to be the big level to break. If it can get above 9.8, that should put the high close back on deck. Okay, so that's the big level to break. Down below, we could move that up. But yeah, so basically it's in a channel right now. It's trading a little sideways here. As you can see, after it broke out, it came back down, and then it hit this level again. And so it has to get above that 9.8. It's all about the 10 level for this stock. If you can get above 10, and then you have this 11.7, basically 12. 10, 12. two big levels for the stock. If it can't hold 8.5, then it could come back down here and test the sixes. It has to stay above this 50-day simple moving average. That is the key level in this chart. And as you know, if you were watching our other charts, you know that it was the over here's the level. It was 6.1. You know, when it broke above 6.1, that was the big level that signaled it wanted to head higher, and so it needs to stay above 6.1. Okay, so let's look at two stocks real quick. Check out CYTX. I didn't get it in the last video. I thought I should throw it in real quick. It closed up 12% today. It's in the bull zone on RSI at 57. Check out Fasto. You want to see that get back above 50. So this had a nice bounce today in an uptrend. You know, it's always nice when you play the bounces in the uptrend and you know, closes back above resistance. So you know, it got the uptrend going on this candle. Closed above the 50 and 100-day simple moving average, the green and gold lines, and then it came back and it held support yesterday, and then now today there's a bounce. If it can stay above that gold line at 365, then it could push higher, and then what we're looking for is a potential move back up to the closing price here on the 5th, if it can get above 47. So 47 is the target if it can stay above 365. Okay, let's look at TGLO. This will be the last one to look at. Yeah, this thing was moving today. So congrats everybody that traded it. I know a lot of people were in this. It closed above the 200-day simple moving average. So if it can stay above 13, then the chart will still be super bullish. This is a 1-month chart. I had to do this so I could show you the potential here. You could see, yeah, you could see how this is really heating up. Look at the volume down here. It's had this huge volume, you know, the biggest volume since the start of the company started trading, and so it's making the crazy move, and yeah, it's on this big run, and so yeah, keep an eye on TGLO. You know, we're always on the OTC plays, and yeah, as you can see here, it has a really strong uptrend. Notice how the candles are just riding EMA4 support higher. As long as EMA4 at 0.129 support is holding, the signal is just to keep riding. If you're a swing trader, you know, that it's just showing that the chart is strong. Once it gets a close below, since it's been holding the whole time, that's your signal that it's cooling down. You could have a drop down to that middle Bollinger Band at 0.4. So that's the downside risk. It could drop all the way down to 4 cents. Right now, it's cruising. Okay, well, thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, come check out our chat. The premium chat is where it's at. I'll post the link below the YouTube video. Thank you.